IEMs that have stood the test of time, some old legend that if you were to spend full price MSRP on it right now, you'll still feel like you're getting a good deal. That's what we're exploring in this video, and just to lay out some ground rules, the IEMs that are qualified to be in this video must be at least 2 years old, which is in Chi-Fi language, a very freaking long time. So right now it is July 2024, so these IEMs must have been released at the very latest July 2022. Anything beyond that, not qualified. Hey friends, Tim here, welcome back to another video on Thieaudio, and this video kind of came about while having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about this first IEM actually called the Moondrop Variations. We were talking about how the Moondrop Variation is still going very strong today despite being released like a couple years back. Actually almost 3 years ago, and it's still one of the best IEM today. So it got me thinking about making this list. Which other IEMs are still good today despite being so old? So yes, Moondrop Variations is one of those IEMs. It's still one of the best Harman tuned IEM today, and as far as EST goes, it's still one of the best EST implementation in an IEM today. Next one up was released a little bit later than the Moondrop Variations, I would say about a year apart, and this one is the Sennheiser IE600. As far as single dynamic driver go, the Sennheiser IE600 really brought something new to the table. Usually single dynamic drivers don't really have good treble extension, especially when we're talking about the air region, until the IE600 came along, and boy, that sparkle, that air, it is some of the best you can ever hear, and it's coming from one dynamic driver. Needless to say, it's still highly impressive today because no other IEM has achieved that kind of treble quality in a single dynamic driver aside from Sennheiser's own IE200, which is just a cheaper version of the IE600. On a side note, I think the fact that Chi-Fi brands haven't really picked up on how Sennheisers tune their DD, it's kind of a missed opportunity. Speaking of dynamic driver, this one is arguably less impressive in achievement as the IE600, but it's still a good IEM nonetheless, and that is the Dunu Titan S, the original one. Mid-centric IEM with well-controlled bass and a decent timbre and treble at the same time for less than $100. Yeah, it's still good today. Next, we have a planar, and no, it is not 7Hz timeless. Even though it did pave the way for a lot of good IEMs to come out, it really didn't have the staying power that a lot of people expected, because a lot of the new planars that came out were just as good, but less expensive, and one of those being the Letshuoer S12. I still love the S12 till today. I still think it's in a lot of conversation today, especially when you're talking about planars that has an extra bit of wow factor, extra bit of details in the treble. The S12 always comes up, even though there are a lot of clones of it today. Moving on to more expensive territory, jumping all the way up to $700, we have the Softears RSV. Now the RSV is a bit pricey for what it can do, but once you listen to it, you almost feel compelled just to pay it because it is just so smooth and natural sounding. The timbre is like one of the most near perfect timbre I've ever heard in an IEM, and it's a 5BA. It doesn't have any BA timbre. It sounds like a dynamic driver IEM. It sounds wonderful. It's one of the best sounding IEMs still, and every time I put them on, I'm still wowed every time. Another IEM on this list that's usually brought up in conversations alongside the RSV is the Thieaudio Oracle MK1. Yes, the MK1 is still the GOAT. It is still the best. I haven't tried the MK3 yet, so don't ask me that in the comments, but MK1 is way better than MK2, and MK1's still on sale, so people are still buying it. MK2 is discontinued. Yes, MK1, still absolutely worth it today. I still love it quite a lot. Another one from Thieaudio is Monarch MK2. This should come to absolutely no surprise. It's $1,000, it's tuned very well. It's still better than the MK3 for me, and yeah, I can't really think of any other IEM that competes directly with Monarch MK2 in this range. And last but not least, we have the oldest IEM on this list, and it also has another title of the first ever collaboration in the hobby, and that is the Critical X Fearless Dawn. It is still an incredible IEM today, especially how the treble is handled, is smooth, is nuanced, is sparkly. It has quite a bit of lively energy without any flaws really. It's not peaky, it's not poorly extended, none of that. And it was released so long ago, I think late 2020 or very early 2021. Still great. First ever collab, still holds up today. Alright, that is it for this video. But hey, leave me comments down below of IEMs you think are still worth it today that have been released at least 2 years ago. Would love to know you guys' thoughts. I know I probably missed a lot of them that could have been included in this list. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and bye.